Why did Anakin hate the fact that he had to kill the Jedi during Operation Knightfall? And why did this lead to him not having the Sith yellow eyes during the operation? Greetings, students of the Force, and welcome back to the archives. One of the most defining moments of Anakin's fall to the dark side was his slaughter of the Jedi Temple. You might even say that this was the point of no return, especially once Anakin killed the room full of innocent younglings. Yet, in the most curious turn of events, he is shown not having Sith yellow eyes during or after the rampage. Even in the flashback of the Kenobi series, when Anakin stabs a young Reva and the other children, his eyes are cold and dark, with no hint of the fiery orange yellow we would expect to see from a man going on a murder spree engulfed with the dark side. And yet, the first time his Sith eyes make an appearance is when he is cleaning up the Separatist Council, a group of people who are, by most standards, insidious individuals. So how is it that the Sith eyes make an appearance in the moment of cruel justice, but when Anakin is actively slaughtering innocents, his eyes remain the same? Well, join us as we open and examine a holocron and explore why Anakin actually hated having to kill the Jedi during Operation Knightfall. Now, let us begin. To understand this phenomenon, we must first fully understand what Sith eyes are and what they mean. The eyes of the Sith are a manifestation of pure dark side potency and intent. When one begins to feast on the dark side by committing a horrific deed in the service to it, the dark side will fill their very being, granting them a copious amount of dark side energy in a surge. It has been stated again and again that those who use the dark side in a powerful way will suffer a physical side effect. Unlike the light side of the Force, which preserves youth and vigor, the dark side ravages the flesh, expediting the aging process and morphing its users into a grotesque monster. The very beginning of this process expresses itself as a notorious burning gold eyes that we most equate with the Sith. Other Darksiders can achieve these yellow eyes, but it's most associated with the Sith religion because they hold nothing back when pursuing power. They give all of their anger, hatred, and pain to the dark side so that it can fulfill them, bring them to the brim with raw strength. This is why the yellow eyes answer the call of the Sith far more quickly than any other dark side religion. With that being said, the yellow eyes can be suppressed when one buried their own inner darkness, such as Palpatine, or if the person is not fully enveloped in the dark side in that moment, such as Ventress or Kylo Ren. But now on to Anakin. At the point of Operation Knightfall, Anakin had freshly embraced the dark side. His mind was focused on one thing and one thing only, and that was his love for Padme and the destruction of the Jedi. The Anakin we know and love was quickly fading away as the dark side was morphing his currently righteous intentions into a monstrosity. We learn from the now Legends novel, The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader, that Anakin had believed his actions as Palpatine's apprentice at the temple were far more righteous than anything that he had ever done as a Jedi. Having said that, Anakin actually disliked having to go and kill the Jedi personally with his own two hands. Slaughtering younglings hadn't exactly been his idea of a peaceful and secure galaxy. However, the thing that kept him moving his lightsaber was the fact that in Anakin's mind, the Jedi needed to be eradicated at all costs. Like he told Obi-Wan, "From my point of view, the Jedi are evil." In Anakin's mind, the Jedi were dangerously blind, and he was the only one who saw the truth. It was his responsibility to end them. The Jedi were all too indoctrinated by the lies of the Council, and they would never understand what he was doing and why it was the right thing. At first, he detested his actions in Operation Knightfall because Anakin only killed them out of ideological reasoning, not necessarily because of a direct pursuit of power. Indirect, yes, as he needed to become a Sith in order to save Padme, but we mean that the action of killing the Jedi was not the catalyst of gaining him more power. But to summarize, Anakin at first believed that Operation Knightfall was a necessary evil. At this very early stage of his turn, Anakin's only problem was the High Council, not really the Jedi themselves. He was mostly following Palpatine's instructions because he believed the Council had infected the Order beyond saving, like a deadly virus or plague. These personal self-righteous beliefs halted the Sith eyes from entering him just yet. But make no mistake, Anakin was definitely wielding the dark side and acting as a part of Darth Vader. But the eclipse was not a total one. There was still some fading light of Anakin being dragged away kicking and screaming under the personality of Vader. This made him much like early Dooku, who turned to the Sith way because he believed it was the only way to get the galaxy away from the corrupt Jedi-protected bureaucrats. Dooku and early Darth Vader are extremely similar. So much in fact that Dooku went a step further and would go out of his way to avoid killing any Jedi directly, at least at the beginning of the war. If a Jedi needed to be killed, Dooku did not want it carried out by his blade. Dooku did this because politically driven Jedi death was one of the things that drove Dooku to the arms of the Sith, at least in Legends. But of course this would later change as Dooku fell more and more into the embrace of the darkness. We have talked about how it's our belief that Dooku never got his Sith eyes because he believed his actions were righteous until the very end, but he did still carry regret at the path that he felt like he was forced to take. Dooku still had regret in his heart as a Sith Lord. At first, Anakin hated himself for killing the Jedi, especially the younglings. This is why he was crying on Mustafar. All of Anakin's horrific actions were weighing on his mind, but he believed that there was no turning back now. But let's rewind a few paces before this moment, to when Anakin was slaughtering the Separatist leaders. There, Anakin did embrace the Sith eyes. We later learned that when Anakin killed Newt Gunray and the Confederate Council, he immensely enjoyed it. The Revenge of the Sith novelization tells us that he was laughing and cracking cruel jokes during the entire act, just like how General Skywalker used to make jokes on the battlefield of the Clone War. This new twisted version of Anakin was doing the same thing while extinguishing trapped, unarmed victims like livestock, stuck in a pen. It was because of this that he absolutely gorged himself on the dark side, and it was quick to mutate him with the Sith eyes. But once Vader was in his suit, his entire perspective changed. No more did he look back on Operation Knightfall as a necessary evil. Gone were the tears of regret that he had shed on Mustafar over the younglings. Once the black armor encased him, he was motivated to kill the Jedi purely to fill the hole that he now felt as losing everything that he had. Vader had lost his organic limbs, and his massive potential in the Force was now hindered. He felt that he needed to prove himself, prove that he was still the best that there was, prove that he was better than the Jedi. Because if Vader did not have power, then he truly had nothing. He felt scammed by the Jedi Order. At first he believed they were dangerously blind. Now he considered them to be dangerously hypocritical, especially after Obi-Wan had mutilated him. Obi-Wan was a true hypocrite. He still believed that Kenobi had turned Padme against him, and from this, Vader absolutely despised all of the Jedi and saw them as a blight on the galaxy, a virus, and he was the cure. The Sith eyes would rush to Vader and remain with him as he became an angel of death to any Jedi that he could sniff out, an agent of darkness, the greatest Jedi killer in galactic history. But anyway, my friends and students of the Force, this is the explanation as to why Anakin did not have Sith eyes during Operation Knightfall. Does this answer make sense to you, or is there something still unclear? Comment your thoughts as well as your take on why Anakin only had the Sith eyes on Mustafar, as we'd love to read through them and get your guys' insights and takes. As always, my friends, thank you so much for joining us in the archives today, and may the Force be with you.